she, on her own, started what first was just called Mary's School, and then she named Morna Valley School. For me, it was such a gradual process. My mum first homeschooled us. She didn't know if they had to return to Canada or whatever, so she thought it's better if they have a dual education.
When I started in 2005, there were just over 200 pupils in the school. There are now just over 600 pupils in the school.
She found this lovely finca called Can Pip Marie, it's also Morna Valley, and so she managed to rent that, and we moved and we started, at Anita's bar there were posters up, new school opening, 3rd of October, and we started with I'd say about 20, 25 kids, but almost 15 of those kids were 3 large Canadian families. The Blacksouths, we were 5, the Lurtzers were 4, and the Jantzers were 5. Where Casa Pagès still is, the restaurant, that was the bridge of San Carlos, and there was a little bridge school, and we hired a room there. And then gradually John Walker came. He was an Englishman from the Johnny Walker whiskey family. He had inherited some money. He had been sent to boarding school, posh boarding school, and was reacting against that and wanted to start a free school in the manor of Neil Summerhill, which you might know. We started, no electricity, no running water, and we had to clear a football pitch, all the stones off to make ourselves a football pitch. We had lessons. I remember history lessons and philosophy lessons under the pine trees. I remember doing Shakespeare, under the algarroba tree, music concerts in the evening outside. It was quite dark in fincas without electricity, so we did a lot outdoors. And this is, you can't see, we're looking at the Stone Theatre. I'm rehearsing, I'm Juliet. This would have been June of 1977. This is Marion, who is the head of drama and all of these history books that I have here. Amazing. She did these amazing theatre productions, and everyone helped, like making the costumes and everything, but she was really the one who did it all. Marion Johnson. You can see how sort of forcefully she's striding there, purposefully. Everybody was so invested in that school. I mean, worked like anything to keep it going. There was never enough money. There was some very wealthy people's kids there and some with practically no money and everything in between. But everyone, it was like a big family. The kids were as adamant as the teachers and the parents that we get this qualification. So, we dressed up. We knew which day the inspectors were coming, and everybody dressed up, in their best, to look their smartest, which was pretty funny probably in 1970s Ibiza. But we make sure the boys had sort of combed their hair, and we were there and looking all shiny. felt such gratitude. We just felt so lucky that we could stay on the island because a lot of kids had to be sent off. And I just felt so lucky that, my mum had started the school and that everybody who was part of it was like a big family. And I still say thank you to everybody who did that, because I had a superb education on a tiny little island.
By the time I finished university, I think I was less enthusiastic about mathematics, but more interested in actually working with people. When I first started the school, there was no dining service. A man used to bring in food from outside and serve it through a little kiosk. There were only about 10 computers in the whole school. And none of the buildings that are in the bottom row, so the big secondary building, the new secondary building, the new primary building, the gym's not quite there yet, but hopefully it will be soon, but none of those buildings were there, of course, because they came as a later development project. So it was much smaller, much more primitive in a lot of ways, much less developed, let's say. It was still a good school in a lot of ways. It was a school that cared very much about its pupils and did the best for them. But it was so much has happened since then, which has made the school get not just bigger but better. I think for me that the rewarding moments is when you see individual success stories. In other words, when students, either students who are very talented do very well, or when students that maybe find things difficult succeed. As a head teacher, you want to put together a team of people who are running the school, heads of departments, head of secondary, head of primary, etc. And you want to support them, obviously, and make sure that they and also, you can't do everything by yourself. In some schools, small schools, there's just a few teachers and the head, and that's it. But as schools get bigger, they need more people in posts of responsibility, and it also makes it work better because you've got a lot more good quality minds thinking about how things can be done. But you've always got to be aware that at the end of the day, what all of them do right or wrong eventually comes to you. You are the final responsible for the success of the school. In practice, as long as the right person comes in, it can actually be even positive for the school, because they're bound to have some ideas that I didn't have. Each leader's got some of their own particular qualities, but what's important is that they, if they bring in some new ideas, that they don't take away what's already here that's good. So my advice to a new head teacher would be, look at this school and get to know it really well before you decide what changes to make, because the school is a very special school. It's an unusual context. It's on an island. It's the only international school on the island, or the only fully international school on the island. It's working very hard to provide for a broad range of nationalities, learning speeds, types of students, and they need to be fully aware of everything it's doing before they make any further changes. So my advice is get to know Morna really well, and then obviously use your own skills and ideas to make it even better.
I suppose I could say freedom, yeah. Freedom. The freedom to be something that comes with Ibiza, really. Many people speak about it now, and I know that's why it's become such a popular place to come and live, because it gives you some kind of feeling of being able to be yourself with no judgment, whoever you are and whatever you like to do.
Words like satisfying would come to mind, because I think it's been very satisfying for me to see what Morna has achieved and to have been part of that achievement, and hopefully it's been satisfying for other people to have me leading those achievements. So that was a possible word, but the word I'm going to choose is forever, and the reason why is because my experience of Morna will live with me forever. And I hope that what I've contributed to Morna will actually have some impact forever, even though Morna will continue to grow and change and develop.
Lucky. I think I was lucky, and everything else can fit into that word. I think we were lucky to been on the island, lucky to have such great teachers, lucky to have such great other kids, parents, the schoolhouse, the plays we put on, the ideas and the philosophy and the education we got.